$14,500 made on his very first deal, wholesaling a house in Charleston, South Carolina, aka Chucktown. Well, this YouTube subscriber, John, is going to tell you how he did it without using his cash or credit. Well, stand by. Let's get it.
Flip man, it's the flip man. You want some money in your hand? Flipping houses without credit or your cash. Get that bag.
Hello, guys. This is Ty, aka the Flip Man, and today from Charleston, South Carolina, aka Chucktown, as he just informed me, I have my man John here, and he is going to share how he made $14,500. Was it your first deal, John?
It actually was the second deal, but it closed before the first deal.
I got you. All right, your first payday, which is most important. Yes, sir. So, with no further ado, we're going to obviously introduce John. How's it going, man?
It's going great, man. You know, we just down here trying to put in work. I'm trying to be the SC Flip Man.
I got you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, what I like to do is just try to get some background on how you guys started, what you were doing before you got interested in real estate, and we'll just gradually move forward towards that first deal and what it took to get there. So, just to simply ask you, just tell us about yourself and and what you do and how you got to the point where you were even interested in real estate.
Okay. Well, I've always been in the trucking business. I remember watching one of your videos about a gentleman that was a truck driver and how I think he made maybe $10,000 or $11,000. So I was like, well, if he can do it, I can do it. And I was always interested in real estate. I would go to a couple of RIA meetings and I would listen to people talk about real estate, and reading a few books here about how over 90% of the millionaires have become millionaires through real estate. So I always had a passion for it. So I kind of started with dabbling with tax sales. I went to a couple of tax sales and, made a few little moves, but nothing major. But that was my interest. And so one night, I'm a man of faith. So I was praying and I was sitting there saying, okay, it got to be a way I can get in here and do this thing. And I was just falling through the internet and I actually came across Ty Taylor, the Flip Man.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And I got hooked on your videos, man. I went binged. I was like a crackhead on your videos, man. I was watching videos night after night. I mean, sometimes I'm like, I got to get up and be to work. I got to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm up 2 o'clock watching videos.
Wow.
But then I remember you saying, information overload. And I got to where I was like, okay, I know enough. I need to take action. Literally, I could hear you in my ears, man. Words like take action, was half a zero. And I remember that. I remember that when I did the deal, was half a zero. Don't be greedy,
Yeah.
So I came from, like I said, trucking background. I'm watching these videos, and then finally, I went to a real meeting and I met a lady named Deborah, and she was she taught real estate at a local college, and she also was a real estate investor, and she has done wholesaling. And she looked at me and she said, "John, you can do this." And I was like, okay. And at that point, I took action. I decided to order your ebook and the bandit signs.
Okay.
And the We Buy Houses signs, and I took a marker and I spent all Saturday just writing in my number, the number down that I'm using for each one. And I went out and I put out probably about 40 bandit signs on that Saturday. Started getting calls. Of course, I had wholesalers calling me, and things like that. But I remember you saying, you got to know the lingo. You gotta first educate yourself so you can know what you're talking about. And then, you got to take action. And so that's what I did. I got out there and I started taking that action. And like I said, I would get calls, and the way this worked, it was very interesting because it was I got a call from a gentleman. He was the next door neighbor of a guy that needed to sell his house.
Wow.
And
Okay.
so from that's how I was able to put the first house on the contract. But it wasn't the first house I closed.
Okay.
Now, Ty, this was interesting how I closed the first house. This deal for 14,500.
Okay.
If
All right. Whenever you get into that deal, if you will, number one, obviously you're gonna go through the scenario how you negotiated the deal, but just
Mhm.
hit us up with the what you figured out as the ARV and then the price and what you thought the repairs for. But
Okay,
go ahead though. Go ahead
right.
with how you got to it.
So upon that, actually, I was actually at a Staples and I was getting ready to go do making some copies. And when I opened up my hatch, I still had a few bandit signs in the back of my vehicle. And a lady, she just yells out. She said, "Hey, sir." I turned around. "Yes, ma'am." She's like, "Oh, you buy houses?" I'm like, "I sure do." And so it wasn't even a bandit sign that I had put out. It was one that was in the vehicle
Oh wow.
that I was getting ready to put out. And that's how I got the deal. She called me, and about 2 weeks later, I went by. Told her, I said, "I'll come by and see the house." I went by to see the house. I ran some numbers on the house. I ran the comps on the house. As you said, with Google, you can do about everything that you need to do. So I ran comps on the house. I realized that with the ARV minus 70%, I mean, times 70% minus, my fee, and then of course the repairs. With the numbers, the ARV was probably around about 195 to two. Um, I got the house on the contract for 75.
Oh, okay. All right. Oh,
Yeah, the buyer just wanted to get out of the house. They didn't want zero.
you mean the seller?
Or-
You mean
Yeah, they just wanted to sell it and wanted to get out. It was a little situation. They had a little family situation going on, so they just wanted to get out the house, sell the house.
did they owe
Now,
75 on it? As you say you just wanted to
yeah,
get out?
yeah, they owe 75. The first thing I did, I had them to pull all the mortgage documentation and everything like that, so I could do verification. I pulled the mortgage documentation. I knew what her payment was. I knew what her, the PITI, everything. And so we had an agreement. Um, I when I came by the house, it was a Saturday. I just drove by to kind of take a look at it. I didn't have no contract. I said, "Look, I'm gonna shake your hand. Don't sell the house to nobody. I'll be by Monday." Came by Monday, 8 o'clock. Put the house on contract. So that's Saturday. I saw the house. Put it under contract on Monday at 8 o'clock. Within 6 days, I had a buyer on that house for 90,000.
Okay. So how did you what did you advertise the price at for? You advertised it at 90 or what did you advertise it at?
I put it at 90. I had it locked at 75. So I had the first contract, position one contract for 75.
No.
Uh,
What I mean is that whenever you were letting buyers know you had a deal available, were you advertising the price at 90 or higher or what?
I advertised it at 90 because the repairs was about 50 to 55
Okay.
on the house. So I knew like if the house is 75, they put in the repairs. We're talking about maybe 125.
Hmm.
But with the comps in the area, you're still going to be able to make about 60 to 70
Correct.
on a flip.
Correct.
And then the return on investment for the rental, you're talking about 14 to 1500 on that.
Okay. All right.
So it's almost like a little bit over 8.6% probably for the year. So I kind of figured the rental side, and I also figured for the flip side of it.
Okay.
So proposing those two for buyers was very attractive.
Okay. All right. So so you put it out there at 90 and someone well let me ask you this. How did you market the property? How did you make buyers or make it available so potential cash buyers could see it was available?
Well, the first thing is I'd already went to a couple of real meetings, so I remember, like I said, watching the videos again. I already had a listing of buyers. trying to get some criteria about what the buyers like and what some buyers don't like. Some like tear down, some like fire damage, some like single family, some like multi-family. It just varies. So what I did, I already knew I had some buyers that this would be right along their line. And literally right up the street, there was another house that was very similar to this house, and there were buyers already jumping on that house. So I kind of took those people in my listing as far as from the meetings. And then I had a couple of network partners that I worked with in terms of some other wholesalers and investors that already had some buyers as well. So literally, once I had it on the contract, it wasn't hard to shop it. I pretty much created my own little sheet showing the house with the pictures and everything like that. And I did a little email blast. I made a couple of calls, and between one to the next day, they were calling. I probably could have got more for the house because actually the guy that actually bought the house, the end buyer, he walked through, saw the house. The house now needs some work, $50,000 worth. It's a little damage, but as soon as he walked through, he gave me the right price. The very next day, another guy called me. He told me he would have probably gave me 100 for the house.
Yeah.
So I probably could have got 25, but was half a zero.
Oh yeah. All right. So that buyer stepped forward and said that they're going to purchase at 90. As far as the contract process, you used his contract, your contract, or how did you all handle that?
What I did, I used the same one-page contract. He signed that contract. We got that contract signed for him as the end buyer. I had an assignment of residential property contract that I already had in place for the assignment. I did that contract as well with him. I got both of those signed, sent them into his lawyer for the closing attorney. So I had them already there for the day of the closing.
I got you. All right. So from the time frame that it took you to get in on the contract with the seller, I think you said maybe 6 days later or so, you had a buyer for it. So from that point, once you had it on the contract with your buyer, how long did it take to close it?
3 weeks.
Okay.
From the time I put it on the contract, 3 weeks.
Okay. All right. Boom. All right. So
we're talking about $4,800 a week.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So from the point that you put it on the contract and now we're leading up to closing day, were there any issues with the title or anything, or that was pretty smooth, or what?
Nah, what I did was because I'd already had that other deal in the works, which hadn't closed yet. I'd already established a relationship with at least 2 title companies, with closing attorneys, for real estate attorneys. So I'd already put in for a title search, but I jumped the gun a little bit because I put in for a title search so I could already have that document in hand to kind of like speed up the process. But then the end buyer wanted to use his attorney, so I had to cancel the title search with the other company, with the other lawyer. But and I got that squared away, and they didn't have no problem with that because I got another deal getting ready to close with them next week, so they didn't have a problem with that. And so then I said, well, so now I kind of knew what I need to do. But outside of that, we had no title issues. But what happened is pulling information early, because I work in another field other than trucking. So with that, I understand like pulling deeds and property information. So what I did, I was able to pull some of those things prior to kind of know that title should be clear.
Okay.
So I utilize that knowledge kind of going forward. So like if I get a house and it has a mortgage, existing mortgage or something, I'm still going to pull information, deed information, property information in advance, just to help me in the process to maybe kind of streamline and know there's not extra claimants on there or something that could, delay the process.
I got you. So you got everything set, and now it's closing day. So closing day for us.
Got up that morning. I had some other work to do, and closing is at 2:00, and I can't wait till 2:00 come. I'm like a kid in the candy store, like, okay, come on, 2:00. Of course, the clock ticked the same time all the time. So I just went on about my day. Arrived there probably about 1:30. Met the end buyer. We chatted for a little bit. funny part is found out that we graduated from the same high school.
Oh wow.
So
Okay.
after we started talking, he's at the top of my buyers list right now. This guy flips probably about 30 to 40 houses a year. So I'm like, okay, hey, let's do business.
Oh,
Get there, go in, sit down at the closing office, the title company office with the attorney. They offered me something to drink. Literally 8 minutes, I was out.
oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, I was sitting there doing this right here.
Was the did the seller had already came in, or they were coming in afterwards, or they were all there at the same time?
I met the seller there outside. We started talking. We'd already built a rapport with one another. So the two of us just chatted for a little bit, went in. It took her like less than 5 minutes to sign some papers. She already been prepped, by me as to what she can expect. Went in there, signed the papers, and then we left out. What was funny though, when we left out, the attorney was like, okay, all the documents were signed for the transaction. And buyer leaves, everybody leaves, and I'm looking at him. He's like, "Oh, you have a good day." I said, "Hey, oh no, man, my check assignment." So he walks around the corner. He's like, "Oh, I almost forgot." I said, "I didn't forget." I shook his hand. He gave me my check. I was like, "Look, good doing business with you. I'll see you in a few days." And that was pretty much it. So literally 10 minutes, I was in and I was out.
A boom.
And I went outside, took a picture with the check, and I was like, things just got real.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So
I remember you saying from your ebooks how all that sweat and blood and tears and all and everything and that 2,500, it was like wow. And so for me, all of the reading and watching your videos all night long, I mean, literally, I'd be driving in my truck working, but I'll be listening to the videos in my ears, taking that time to educate myself, use those hours to educate and educate and educate. And literally, man, when it got down to it, it was I mean, like I told you, I'm a man of faith. I believe that with God we can do all things. But but I believe this: God will put the food on the table, but He ain't gonna put the food in your mouth.
oh yeah,
You know?
oh yeah,
Yeah, you got to put that. You got to put that work in now.
oh yeah. You can buy all the ingredients to bake a cake, but the cake ain't gonna bake itself. So
Oh
you know,
no, no,
yeah,
no,
yeah.
no.
That's why I try to tell people. Say they'll ask me, "Well, what do you guarantee?" I can't guarantee you anything. That's basically saying when someone says, "Oh, we guarantee you're gonna be able to do this or that." That means even if you don't do
Hmm.
anything, you're still gonna do a deal. That's ridiculous.
Yeah,
The guarantee is
yeah.
your efforts. My information or my time is just a tool that
Hmm.
are tools that have to be used or whatever.
Yeah.
This is nothing new. I didn't invent this. It's just very old information that I've got a lot of experience from doing deals that I've shared with individuals. You just have to take it and use it as you've shown and many others have shown. So just real quick, what is that other deal that you're about, the second deal you're about to close? What is it looking like as far as numbers?
Numbers wise, that deal will be for 5,000. So that'll put me in about within the 30-day frame at 20,000. That deal was and that deal took a little bit longer because with the existing mortgage on that, trying to save that homeowner from foreclosure and then also from save their credit, we were able to get that deal set up as a subject to
Hmm.
conditional. So I was able to find an invite that was able to take it over and take over payments and the conditions of that subject to, and assign that contract for about 5,000. Um,
Okay.
so it actually worked out real good. It was a win-win on all three parties. So it just took a little bit longer. The only reason that deal didn't close as early because the actual owner of the property lives out of state and is in the military on a submarine. So we've been kind of working back and forth with them, but we're able to get it done though.
Okay. All right. All right. That's what's up, man. Well, John, I
I
really
got some more.
appreciate.
I got some more on the table, man. I'm hungry right now.
All right. Well, yeah. Before I go, so what are you going to do to ramp up your marketing? We know you're doing the bandit signs. What else additionally do you intend on doing?
I do bandit signs. I actually have about 4 people bird dogging for me
I
right
got.
now. Because literally the market in this area, there are a lot of wholesalers, but I created a room where I have like Uber drivers that will they see properties for me and they send me the property information and then I take it from there. I connect with I connected with some people in the county, so I can pull the information, and of course you getting it. I'm going to be starting up with the deal later, so that will work good to be able to do my CRM, also be able to pull deal later, aka prop stream. I could be able to use that. I'm telling you, man, you're in my head, man.
Oh yeah, you've been watching.
Yeah, I mean, the information. This is the thing. I utilize those methods. I worked with a nonprofit, so I had a lot of connections with a lot of people. So I sent out a lot of information. So I literally have a big pipeline of people that are funneling folks to me. So I use that resource along with, like I said, bandit signs work well for me, and email blasting. I think you just have to know what's going to work well for you. And I get a lot of referrals. People, like I said, people just call me. So I try to minimize the cost, but also, invest wisely and properly so I can get the most bang for the buck.
Right.
And I may do some postcards. Right now, a lot of my volume is, like I said, coming through those other means.
I got you. I got you. Well, man, we really appreciate you, man, for sharing your information and your time with and your story on your first deal and second deal. Before we go, if there's anything you like to share with individuals out there that's still trying to do that first deal, or maybe struggling to do a second deal or whatever,
Mhm.
anything you want to share before we go?
Well, I'd just like to say this. Like I said, my name is John. Uh, and reading this ebook by Ty Taylor, one of the things he said, I'm no smarter than the next person. The only difference is I took action. Now, you can sit there and you can read and you can study and you can read and study, but until you step out. Now, me being a man of faith, I always think about Peter. He was in the boat, Jesus walking on the water. Peter was different than the rest because he decided, I'm not scared. I'm stepping out this boat. He asked God, could he come? He said, yeah. He steps out the boat. You have to make a decision at some point to say, I'm going to step out the boat. Don't worry about being perfect, getting everything right. Believe you me, I did not get everything right, but I took action. And in taking action, then I have a result that I wouldn't have if I didn't step out there. So just get up off the couch, take action, connect with some people. The videos out here, they're free. Literally, Ty, I filled the contract out while talking to the seller while watching your video at the same time.
That's what's up,
Come
man.
on now, you. I mean, I'm sitting at the home PC. I have the laptop with the instructions on how to fill it out, and I'm doing it at the same time on the phone with the client, and I
Wow.
was able to get it done. The client didn't need to know that, but I knew. So what I did, I found what works, and I took the action. Now here we are. It's the holiday time, and I'm amped up. I'm like ready to go. I'm like, look, I need about another 20 deals. I literally got about 25 deals I got to go through potential right now. And once I go through those, we're gonna move on that. So I say to anybody that's out there, you can do this. You don't have to be a rocket science. You don't have to be a brain surgeon. You just have to be a person that has a desire to make a change and get up and do. The Bible says all things are possible to them that believe. And then when I go to church Sunday, I'll give a greater tithes and offering. And I'm looking to be the person that I can go to church one day and sold $10,000. I just made $100,000 wholesale deal. That's what I'm going for.
I got you. That's what's up, man. Well,
And then not only that, Ty, being able to change things in my family, things in my community, because I work with a nonprofit, so we're always dealing with housing services and different things like that. So this really has been the missing link for me. So I want to tell you, man, from here, brother, I appreciate you, man. You don't know. No, I didn't necessarily need the one-on-one coaching. I mean, I it's good, I'm sure, and that's great because I mean you're a wealth of knowledge, but the wealth of knowledge that you gave was sufficient enough for me to the point, like I said, I hear you in my head, man. I can quote stuff that you said from video to video to video to video. So that person out there, take it from me. A couple months ago, I was sitting here watching. Now I have evidence. I got the check.
that's it.
I got the closing. I'm meeting people that I probably wouldn't have met. So if I can do it, you can do it.
That's what's up, man. Well, again, we really, really appreciate you taking out the time to share this information with me and individuals that'll watch this, months and probably years beyond this date or whatever. But again, he made it clear, man. He just took advantage of the free information. A lot of people, they'll text me or post a comment on one of the videos, or what video should I watch to show me how to do this, or where should I start? Watch, I have a couple of videos that I suggest that you can start with, but they're not in any certain order, but it's all there. And, just there's something I've been thinking about over the last few months. Educate yourself to give yourself the best chance of succeeding. I don't care what it is. You'll get out there and you watch 7-8 videos, try to do it or whatever, think you got the contract in your hand or whatever. And then when the deal goes bad or whatever, oh, this doesn't work. No, it does work. You just then educate yourself to make it work. It's that simple. People, I know people, your situation may dictate that you need to do this right now or whatever. But, just think about it. People go to college 4, 8, 12 years. It takes a physician, someone that wants to be a doctor, up to 12 years to be a full-fledged doctor. And, that's hundreds of thousands of dollars later. You could take 3 months, educate yourself on this free content, and you can make more money than they make potentially. So, it's
brother, I ain't never made $14,500 at one time.
That's what I
made it over the course of time, but I ain't never made it at one time.
Yeah, one time, man. That changes people's situation and changes it quickly. You see what I'm saying? So
quickly, man.
But again, man, enough of me rambling. Again, John, we really appreciate you, man, showing up and sharing your information with us. And I'm sure this is going to help a lot of people, man, with your journey and how you went about it, man. Again, thanks.
Hey, thank you, man. I mean, literally, when I was watching videos from way back, I said, one day I'm going to be on there. I'm going to be able to tell my story.
Oh, yeah.
And I said that about maybe 4 months ago. And here it is, almost Christmas. And I'm telling my story. All praises to God, man. Without him and without him using you to put this information out here, I mean, it couldn't be possible. So when you with your family, man, and the holidays, remember this brother down here. I really believe he used you to help me to change my situation, and also for so many others that it's about to blow up, man. That's all I'm saying.
All right, man. Yeah. Well, Merry Christmas to you, John. You and too, yours, man. And happy New Year. We don't communicate in between that time or whatever, man. And again, thanks, guys, and we'll see you on the flip side.
All right, my brother.
Flip man, it's the flip man. You want some money in your hand? Flipping houses without credit or your cash. Get that bag.